Good evening, Lunenburg. My name is Brett Ramsden. I'm the chairman of the Lunenburg Sewer Commission, and we're going to start our meeting as we always do with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. All right, in accordance with the requirements of open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting of the Sewer Commission is being recorded and will be able to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The following information is also provided for members of the public that would like to participate in the meeting remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, please use the link to join the public meeting webinar found on the posted agenda. Or from a telephone, please dial toll-free 888-475-4499 and enter the webinar ID number 831-8724-9940. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your name and email address. No participant ID is needed. Just press pound when asked. I will do a roll call vote to confirm that all members and staff are present. And when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. I'll start with Dan Proctor.
Here.
And Arthur Cadis.
Here.
And Brett Ramsden is here. We have not heard from Scott Dahl as of yet. And following into the attendance of the staff, Bill Bernard.
Here.
And Andrew Valerie.
Here.
Jean Ramley.
Here.
Thank you all. And anticipated speakers on the agenda, please respond in the affirmative with Haley Ward, Steve Ballard.
Dan Sheehan.
Thank you. And Daniel Chief. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to ask if there's any members of the public on board here and if there is any comments from such. Okay, are there any comments from the commission or staff at this point? All right, thank you very much. And all right, so I'm going to cover some open meeting ground rules here. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some of the ground rules. I, the chairman, will introduce each item on the agenda and we'll go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold your comments until your name is called. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes, and so the chairman can hear you. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. So we're going to start by opening a public hearing. And I'd like to introduce Daniel Sheehan from Haley Ward for an easement request for 763 Mass Ave, a waiver request. And this is a continued discussion of the project. The meeting is now open.
Beautiful. Thank you, Chair. Dan Sheehan with Haley Ward. I wasn't here last time, so what I'll do is I'll provide you guys a brief overview of the project, give you a nice little refresher, and then kind of go over the changes I just submitted to you literally a couple minutes ago. Nothing really major, so I think it's pretty easy to walk through. But so the intent of this project is to separate out that funeral home at 763 Mass Ave into 3 lots. There are going to be 3 duplexes on it. The funeral home will be retrofitted into a duplex as well. So kind of just going over it, it's kind of the main intent. Some of the changes from what you guys have seen previously to what you're seeing now is essentially you guys have brought up that there was an existing sewer stub off of Mass Ave there. We had provided that on the plan here. We actually got pretty lucky. We had no idea it was there, so I appreciate you guys bringing that to our attention. But our previous service was essentially 6 feet over, so we just shifted this entire main line over 6 feet. Besides that, the only real changes from a design standpoint here is the manhole that was present behind this duplex here is now a drop manhole, just to kind of, because it's got a much shorter run to prevent excessive velocities coming through that, it made more sense to make that an interior drop. That's really it for the kind of major changes here. I'd be more than happy to answer some questions. I'll get into some of the ones that Steve had brought to my attention. If you guys have any further ones, I'll be more than happy to elaborate this. Again, the first one was, where's that existing sewer stub? It is shown here now where we're actually tying into. Besides that, another question that came up was, will the funeral home have bedrooms in it? Yes, it will. When you want to look at the total site in general for the total bedrooms, we have 19.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, please.
19, sorry.
Yes, 19 total bedrooms. So we kind of looked at the last question here, which was, is a 6-inch, sufficient for this? And I utilized Title V, going through their guidelines, 110 gallons per day per bedroom. You end up with 2,090 gallons per day anticipated from this development. 6-inch at 2%, full volume, about 500,000 gallons per day. So there's no issue when it comes to capacity. I think this may have been something that I had misspoke last time I was here in front of you guys. With the separate project 792, the biggest thing there was just more of, I wanted to make sure the conversation stayed on the side of, there may be work needed in Mass Ave. Similar here, when we go out there and actually field locate this stub, if there is any issues with the integrity of the pipe, obviously that would need to be replaced so that it's working in an efficient manner. So that was really it. I'd be more than happy to answer the questions or concerns you guys may have. I'll hand it back over to you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, sir. Gentlemen, I'm gonna go around the table. I'm gonna start with Dan. Do you have any immediate questions or?
So you're saying that the 6-inch will handle the volume of all these units?
Correct.
Okay,
And there's a 6-inch there now.
Correct.
that's correct. Thank you.
And is that your only question is
At the moment, yeah.
Scott Dahl? Do you have any questions, sir?
I missed the beginning, so
And Arthur?
I see, my question is, did we get the updated plan? I didn't get one.
Little louder, I'm sorry.
Did we get the updated plan? I didn't get one.
Oh, yes. Yeah, just let's take a moment and.
Is the proposal for the cost of the not tying in? Cause I just drove by there and I noticed the manhole's down about here and the original drawing was showing it down this way.
So this is the existing stub that he's talking about,
Hmm.
which I had mentioned at the last meeting. This is the existing septic tank from the funeral home in the leach field, so obviously that's why they put that stub there to service the funeral home when the sewer went by. So that is it, that he's proposing to tie into at this point.
Okay, I mean. I don't know what to say, that's not really where we left off, but okay, I don't have any questions.
Arthur, would you have any questions?
I don't.
We had a pretty extensive conversation about this
I
in the
know,
last
I know.
meeting. I was expecting to get an email from, with the revised plan of the three separate, either three separate tie-ins to Mass Ave or extending what the cost was to extend the 540 feet down, I forget the name of the street. Chestnut. And I guess we don't have any of that, right?
I didn't receive
All right.
that, so I don't think you did either. Bill? No? Okay.
And so this is the updated, this is the actual accurate, because they couldn't answer last time if this was the actual tie-in, they were just kind of.
Yeah, you missed the beginning of the meeting, but they found the stub. And it was a 6-inch stub.
That's, yeah.
And they talked to the flow engineer.
Yep.
And it will handle the flow if they go with a 6-inch pipe to the 6-inch. Just. so that
Okay,
that's a-
again, that
Doesn't
wasn't
mean it's
what,
go.
where we were leaving this at all last meeting, it had nothing to do with 6-inch, this is more of a disruption, telling us, well, now they may have to go in more than one time to here, and I was like, well, if we're going in more than one time, what's 3 times? And it was just gonna be 1 time, and then 2 times, and then there was gonna be, they were gonna try and drag one down here, and then keep them all without us having to grant easements. Am I the only one who's at this meeting?
I think, if I may,
We have a question. Arthur.
no, I just wanna say, the only thing that was addressed was the fact that they moved 6 feet over to tie into the stub. And, that's the right size for the flow.
Okay,
That's the only that's been addressed. I don't, this gentleman's new today. I don't know. if
no, he was there.
Had the notes.
He was there the first.
Okay, I don't know if you have notes. I don't know if he had notes
Right,
from the previous gentleman
right.
addressing that was concerns.
Yes. I
So
believe
it just seems like that wasn't.
That's all. Yep.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I'm not finding it. The engineer that was here.
Yep.
You spoke with him.
Yeah, Steve Ballard.
And, he knew the questions which you reiterated earlier.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, he's been updated. We've all been updated on that now. The question is,
Well, we haven't been updated. We've
So
been
the-
corrected on 6 feet because he initially was like, well, I think you had mentioned that that wasn't accurate, right? I mean, it was estimated by the way it was read.
As far as the
Now-
depth of it or.
Yeah, now it's, yeah, 6-inch stub, but it really wasn't even the issue at that point where we were leave out is, but. I don't know, you guys can finish your questions.
I just wanted to say that.
No, I appreciate that. I apologize. I started a new
Right.
job yesterday, so
Right.
I've
No,
been
it's
flying
got-
away from Devon.
I'm trying to keep to the, you weren't here for an earlier discussion, but I'm trying to keep to the meeting protocols a little more, and then I'll hear more of the meeting and be able to, you weren't here for it, but if we can direct most of the questions through me and then take it from there.
Okay,
But I want you to finish your thought.
no, I mean, that, I said my piece. What I thought we were coming into tonight, that's all. That's why I just kept checking my email.
Arthur,
Will
you,
this affect the vote in any way?
well, we're,
Because we
Likely
don't
gonna
have
need
the
to get
information that we're trying to glean from the last. Will this affect the vote in any way? Because we don't, obviously now we don't have any feedback from or any kind of response from the information that we want to glean from like the last meeting. You
right,
know?
regarding
So,
going down.
is that gonna affect? Are we just treading water now, or are we waiting for, the elephant in the
Help me
room,
out, Dan.
Can I speak?
Of course.
Bill,
Yeah.
go ahead, Scott.
So, Mr. Chair, to the speaker.
Yeah.
Did you get these questions or concerns that, the commission wanted to see you go up Chestnut Street and connect? Did you guys discuss that and decide, no, we're gonna stick with our original plan? Is that what happened?
Yeah, so through you, Chair, I did get the questions and concerns about trying to come up Chestnut. I wasn't aware that you were looking for some sort of cost evaluation kind of coming up Chestnut to see what that cost would be. I guess just to kind of, from my point of view, looking at this, to extend the sewer up Chestnut here when there is an existing stub here, it, from a cost perspective, obviously is gonna be way more drastic. Just based on surface stones out there, I'd imagine you're gonna have some significant ledge kind of going through that as well. The plus side of this too would be you're kind of limiting any disturbance in Mass Ave if you can utilize this existing stub outside of it. To come in with the sewer line and trying to essentially extend out a main just for these few houses here. You'd be going into Mass Ave, which is essentially what we're trying to avoid with this. Again, that's
Okay,
information I was kind of given. I'd be more than happy to speak further on that.
well,
I have a question.
when you're ready.
So one thing we determined during the last meeting is the property owner has the option because the whole property is on the sewer system. It can, worst case scenario, we can force them to separate the lines and have them go directly to Mass Ave individually. My question to you is, if we pushed to bring it down Chestnut Street. My question is, would the property owners likely skip that, having the choice of going directly to Mass Ave even individually?
Yeah.
Or would they not?
Yeah, so through your chair to answer that question, the property owner would more likely just try to come in directly into Mass Ave, get the Mass DOT permits to do that work instead. As you can kind of tell, the way these lots were originally kind of delineated out, the intent was to always feed 3 individual services down Mass Ave, not necessarily install new sewer main.
Okay, so either way, we're going to Mass Ave. This is just. So Chestnut is essentially off the table. Correct. Okay, just needed to know that. Um,
Mr.
Scott?
Chair,
okay.
so. Where he might need to be brought up to speed, I don't wanna take any words out of your mouth, but I know it was coming. You said where these two addresses were on Chestnut, we wanted them plumb to Chestnut. And this was also, part of our conditions to, looking out for the best interest of the town, but we have to, you have to prove certain conditions, and one of them, the biggest ones being, it would have to be a real financial hardship for us to say, okay, to grant the easements and come into Mass Ave. However, besides the fact that we wanna put these, we're probably missing our biggest opportunity to the town of bringing Chestnut online onto the sewer, which is under our master plan from, of the town. So that being said, my talk about, we can't stop these where this is going to Mass Ave, but without the easements, and you'd have to run 3 separate lines, and like you said, could possibly be ledge and stuff, which adds cost and stuff, so I wanted to see what the cost was gonna be for you to run 3 separate lines to Mass Ave, as opposed to bringing the, what was it, 540? And why am I, how much, it was like 200 something, right?
It's about 500, because, so they have some property lines right here,
Yeah.
196, 84, so there's
Yeah.
280. No, there's several.
So what was gonna be,
It's about 400.
less, what was gonna be honestly less cost for you, and that was just more of evaluating, giving you an option on, well, here it is. It's gonna cost you X number of dollars for 3 separate runs to Mass Ave, or you're gonna have 2 really short runs and another short run with, probably without an easement. Or only 1 easement. So that was where, I mean, and don't wanna speak for everyone, I'm speaking for myself, but that was the general gist of where we left it in the meeting. And we wanted, besides the accuracy of this tie-in, we wanted to see what the estimated cost was gonna be. I understand you're not digging in, you don't know if there's ledge, but with the runs and the way you have these lots divided, what was gonna be more cost conducive for you?
Well, my thought, Scott, and if you could all give me your thoughts on this. Their cost aside,
Mhm.
for me, the question is, there's a stub there off the road that we have information that it will accommodate successfully everything that needs to flow into it. And if we require them to enter the road individually, which we can do that, I'm trying to question, is that an advantage for the town or is it not? That's where my question is, because they're going to Mass Ave either way. So the question is, do they go to Mass Ave through the, through the connection that exists? Or are we gonna force them to do others and dig into the street? And what is best for the town? Because either way, the flow is going to increase. We can handle the flow.
Well, we know we can handle,
There'll be more people,
but
adding to the system.
may I know.
And, sir,
I just wanted to real quick and say, for the town, I look at it as, per square footage, what's the value? Is it more valuable to have properties with easements or is it more valuable to have properties without easements?
which way? I'm sorry.
So is it better for a town to have a lot of properties with easements, or is it better for a town to have a lot of properties without easements? Is the question.
Personally, I don't, go ahead, Dan, I'd love to have you answer.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Personally, I think we should try to avoid easements altogether, whenever we can. I mean, that's just my gut feeling. No disrespect to Haley and Ward. Personally, I think this is a headache. Okay, we got multiple basins, what have you. I'm not a big fan of the way this lot is all, designed and what have you.
Yeah.
I understand our hands are tied. Bill mentioned that at the last meeting, that, if they went to court, they would win, that we have to let them tie into Mass Ave.
Mhm.
But again, I don't look at us as the sewer commission that we're representing the whole town. We're representing the town of people that are on sewer.
Mhm.
Okay, Scott's exactly right. I would rather force developers to look into this option of running up Chestnut Street. Ballpark numbers, I don't know if you talked to anybody, but $200 a foot was kind of what I heard. All right, now that didn't include engineering.
Mhm.
But so if they go 500 feet, that's $100,000 job. Okay, which is obviously gonna be more money than doing this, and even if they go into Mass Ave and multiple things. I don't look at digging into Mass Ave as a headache, okay? By today's standards of trench boxes and whatever, that's what guys in the excavating business do.
Mhm.
And if it disrupts traffic for a day, it disrupts traffic for a day. If it's 2 days, it's so be it. But I just don't think we, meaning the board, and I'm just speaking for myself, are doing the right thing by having easements all through properties. I think we should force them to do it the right way. If they have 3 properties, they should have 3 connections down on that side. That's just my.
And I wasn't trying to be difficult on a sense of saying, hey, run the numbers on what it's gonna cost you to go there. I was saying run the numbers because I'm no expert on this, but I wouldn't even be able to guess what it's gonna cost to run this property to Mass Ave, down around here along this tree line that's there. And then, piping this through, the asphalt or whatever of the parking lot that's there, and then running this over. I don't know, 100 grand, I don't know. 10, 15, 20, that was only, hey, here's a possible option for you just to look at. I mean, I'm an accountant, so it's just one of those things. I'm looking at numbers and proposals. On the backside, I do agree with Dan's original thoughts a couple of weeks ago was these are addressed Chestnut Street. And if we're looking out for the best interest of the town, there's other people on Chestnut that are gonna wanna tie in, but aren't gonna take the cost from Mass Ave all the way up, and there are other people on there and that wanna come in, that Bill had made us aware, there are people that showed interest, and that's without us even publicly going out and asking. If we don't do this now, the person here that wants to tie in isn't gonna drop the 100 grand, 120 grand at that point to tie in. So that, I'm just trying to say, hey, look, I really don't want easements, that are really this, I can say intrusive, and I still think that there could be, future issues, but, not just, and I'm talking about for future owners, not, I don't mean, safety or anything like that. But that's just that's where my thought process landed, and, unfortunately, I drive by this, property, a couple times a day, and, I know there'll be disruption here. I dealt with the disruption here. It's not a disruption. It's an inconvenience, and guess what? It slows down the people on the street too.
Me, I'd say, I agree with both of you, preferably, it'd be great to have them come up Chestnut. The problem is, we can't make them do that.
I know.
Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, no, we can't.
So I guess what I'm saying is, if our world was a little more perfect and we had more control, I would be totally on board with asking them to go up Chestnut. But they're not gonna go with that option, I suspect. I mean, he just made that clear.
So we asked,
So, and then my other thought is, I agree actually with you gentlemen, I'm not a fan of easements in general.
Mhm.
And my problem with easements, if, can be inconvenient for people to expand their property or add a garage or even as much as a shed, a large shed. And I'm just looking at this particular instance where the sliver of land that is going to have the easement from this property, the amount of easement is actually quite a small area. And there's going to be a pipe here either way. With this configuration, there's going to be less likelihood of hitting a pipe with excavation or it affecting somebody's expansion. If we feel we're setting too much of a precedent, accepting easements, you know, there's something to talk about as well, but for me, it's per property like we talked about. And as you mentioned before, Scott, is there a hardship to make this happen as well?
Yeah, improving a hardship
It's hard
for,
to,
that's pretty conducive too, because then what am I asking for? Bank records of you have a private company?
Yeah.
You know, no, but like I said, the cost is prohibited as subjective. I mean, it really is, you know, so, I mean, I really don't know, like I said, my best interest here for the town is bringing on Chestnut Street. That's in our plans to bring on. This is our opportunity to bring it on. And I feel like I have to take the shot at it, you know, regardless of what happens. I know we can't block it. I'm just saying, best case scenario that's gonna affect more people. I mean, bringing these people online in a map that we've had for 20 years, we're not, it's not like we're adding Chestnut Street and saying, hey, we can do this, you know, now. That's just where my head's at on it, and I still would rather have it nice and neat and dry, and these guys, these two properties tied in, you know, and me saying, oh, hey, you know, when he decided to go with, I still say it's albeit absurd to run, you know, because we were already stuck, well, I'm sorry, I was already stuck on, I don't wanna say we, for you guys. I was already stuck on that. I was annoyed at how this property was divided up, just trying to skirt this. And that's the only reason why they were drawn up this,
Charlene, what? I'm sorry.
to skirt the way it could be built, and also the way that they could tie in. And just figure, oh, it'll be better with the easement, but I'd almost rather call a bluff and say, all right, go put them through the property line, so as they
Hold that
run.
thought for one moment, Mr. Director. If we want to ask them to, we can ask them, not force them, but request that they go up Chestnut Street. Doesn't mean they're going to do that, but,
Correct.
and try to push them that way by going individual connections to Mass Ave, and they can weigh out their options from there.
And look, I'm not saying individual connections to Mass Ave, my only thing would be no on the easement. That, and yes, that does say, okay, 3 separate connections to Mass Ave. Oh, you know, unless they're gonna go back to the town and redraw their property lines and, but. Yeah, I mean, look, in the end, that's it, but my only thing is you know, it's pretty obvious to know how I would vote on it at this point, on this proposal, but, you know, that's why there's a board and other people, so.
But gentlemen, what if we do a test vote? Running around, I mean, just a pre-vote to see where we land here.
What is that?
What's the word I'm looking for? Where do we all stand on this? Dan, which way would you feel about voting on this? Yea or nay?
I would vote no.
Okay.
I'm not big into easements. I'm kind of 100% behind Scott. I think we
This is
force
official vote.
them
Yeah.
to either do it the right way, meaning three stubs, so that we're not giving easements. Again, financially, they may figure it out and they may say we're better off doing the 3 stubs on Mass Ave, but I'm not a big fan of easements across the board. Any projects, I just think they're always gonna come back to haunt us.
So that's the
I'm not in
clarification I
favor.
was hoping to get.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be my
Without
vote.
me throwing in any more 2 cents, and no, yeah.
Arthur, where do you
I
land?
wouldn't-
Arthur, where do you land on this?
I'm against easements.
Well, I think we are probably ready to move to a vote because we're all seem to be heading the same direction. So I guess there's no sense wasting the evening away further.
Don't you have to read something official
Say again?
for the vote? Doesn't you have to read?
Well, yes, so accept the motion.
I'll make
I-
a
motion.
motion, I'll make a
I was
motion.
about to ask
I'll second the motion for a vote.
in a second.
What's the motion?
Did you just make the motion?
I'll make a motion
Yes,
that,
okay.
that we vote on whether we're gonna allow
Everyone was talking at
the
once.
easements that were requested.
Thank you. And can I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
So,
Mr. Chair, just to clarify that the motion is to
Accept this or not?
deny the
Yeah. Oh,
the
the,
waiver request. Is that what the motion is?
should the motion to deny?
uh,
We're denying it. right?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I may, Chair, I think the motion here is, to vote on the waiver request itself, and
Right.
then you guys would vote to deny.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more of a yay or nay on the request.
Okay,
Thank you for.
yeah, of course.
So I make a motion that we vote on the request.
Very good.
The
Yeah,
waiver, waiver.
The waiver
Guys,
request.
Waiver request.
Second the motion.
And he's,
Vote on the waiver.
okay, I'm gonna start with Dan.
I vote that we do not
Right.
accept the waiver
Nay.
request. Nay.
Scott, Don't.
Nay.
Arthur,
Nay.
and nay for myself, the motion does not carry. We appreciate your time.
Thank
Um, And we look to the, you and the property owner, will have to decide to do it.
Thank you for your time tonight, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I need to close this hearing at 6:32 PM. Regarding 763 Mass Ave waiver request. All right then. That brings us to our current business meeting, gentlemen. And I would like to start with the minutes from 10/28/2025. And,
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of 10/28/25.
I will second that motion.
all right, we have a motion and it's been second to accept the minutes from 10/28/25. Arthur?
Aye.
And Scott?
Aye.
And Dan?
Aye.
And I for myself. Thank you, gentlemen. And thank you, Jane, for your excellent work. And we'll move into the sewer business manager slash DBW director updates. So the first on that update would be the ADU amendment. And I'm going to ask the director how we're doing there, where we stand on that.
I think at the last meeting, we were pretty much all in agreement that this is the language we wanted.
And then I think we had to schedule to vote it, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so we have
Did we give
spoken
it
with town
notice?
council.
Yeah.
We voted with it.
Good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think we're ready to take a vote on it.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah, we
anybody
can,
else-
right?
I think we're ready to vote.
The,
Yeah.
the language,
Arthur.
I just have one question. It says here for the $2 per gallon based on Title V flow. Is that a one-time charge?
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, all right, it could freak people out a little bit. If it doesn't say one time, it doesn't say it somewhere, I didn't see it. But it's a one-time charge, okay.
yeah, can I-
Yeah, it's connection charge, it's all, right, okay, yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Dan,
Can I ask a stupid question? The definition of ADU, can you have a 2-bedroom ADU?
Yeah, I think,
you
yeah.
could,
you
yeah.
can.
It's 3, I believe it was.
I think-
No, I thought it was two.
I think you can have two, right? Yeah. they can.
1 bathroom, 1 kitchen.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that. I thought it was,
900 square feet, I think that was.
900
square feet,
yeah, it's a 900 square foot, but I thought it was a 1-bedroom. but
Okay.
I could be wrong, so that's fine. I mean, okay. Fair enough.
So is there any further?
No, I mean, I
We
thought
won't
we
take it
went
as a
over
review.
pretty well with town council and
Mhm.
then discussed the final version last meeting, right? This being it, so, yeah, no. Just to make a motion to accept the sewer connection charge policy for ADUs.
Very good.
How I do?
We have a motion. Can I have a
I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion. It's been seconded. And Dan,
I,
and Scott,
Aye,
Arthur,
Aye.
and I for myself. Thank you, gentlemen.
very good.
All right. Now, was the director, helping us going with the manhole IFP updates.
Right, so I think we talked about it the last time. They ordered the manhole frame and covers and it came in as the wrong size.
Yes.
So they had to reorder them, but they're not in yet. And
We're running out.
we have our
of-
policies, you can't open the road after November 15th.
Mhm.
And then the contract was over on October 31st.
Oh, jeez.
So we're granting them an extension of time until June 30th, 2026. So they can come back in the spring and finish up the work. So that extension it's probably gonna get signed, well, probably next week at this point.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And devil's advocate on that, they don't complete the work by June where they had such problems, you know. What happens then? Are we null and void looking for a new contractor or,
I'm not worried about that, but
Okay.
I believe.
well, I know,
there's-
but I think we're on a year discussing this.
I believe there's penalty clauses in the contract.
Yeah, okay, alright.
If there's a little bit of work left, we can go after their bond, there's things you can do.
Okay.
But I'm not worried about them not completing it, cause they're gonna have the manhole framing grades very shortly.
Mhm.
It's just, I can't allow them to open the road right now.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Keating's isn't shut down, have they? Yeah,
Not yet, but
yeah,
very
they're
short.
close.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for taking care of that,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Director. Very good. That already brings us to future agenda items, gentlemen. And Dan?
So part of this discussion that we just had with the gentleman from Haley and Ward and this ADU regulation that's gonna go into play, this is gonna be town meeting, correct?
No,
No,
we
this
can
is.
put
Oh, this is
a
already accepted.
regulation.
Incorporated already.
Okay.
We do have to go to town meeting to change
To
our
change the
other
wording.
waiver,
Yeah,
cause
In the
it's
spring.
a waiver language, cause that's a bylaw,
Okay,
yeah, and it was only the one word, right?
just about, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
okay. My biggest concern is just what happened here tonight.
Hmm.
I think we should really discuss and make a change in our bylaw or regulation, whatever it is. I apologize, I'm not a legal guy. But I worry about not tying sewer into the street address. In other words, if we had that in our regulations that you have to tie into the street address,
Mhm.
then they would be forced to tie into Chestnut Street.
Mm.
And I know $100,000, you know, sounds like a lot of money, I get that, but when the prices of land are going for what they're going for. Just like what Scott said, we need to force these developers into tying running sewer lines down the roads. So I really think we should, however we have to do that, get that change in our regulations.
So they
that
can't call
forces
us a
them.
bluff and just
Well, it's,
whatever they wanna do.
it's
anyway.
gonna happen,
Yep.
you know, I mean, even the gentleman that was here, whatever, 4 or 5 meetings ago about running downhill from Sunny Hill Road down to West
yeah.
Street. Well, theoretically, if the gentleman on West Street had enough land that he could subdivide his property and have 10 feet. So a guy can run a machine down, he could run a sewer line all the way from West Street on his own property now and become part of Sunny Hill Road. And trust me, guys are gonna stay up night thinking of those type of scenarios. I have already looked at some maps and said, gee, where can I run a sewer line? You know, seriously, because that's what's gonna happen. So I really think,
And
We-
it's already been done,
right, we
there's
should.
already a couple that I know.
Right, that we should look at that because that's exactly what's gonna happen. And it would be a simple thing
It's
that,
actually, you're
that it
right.
would basically just be the address that the property is on. And
We don't
then,
have to explain ourselves at that point.
yeah, it's just that much
The
easier.
property speaks for itself.
Right, you're on Chestnut Street, you gotta tie into Chestnut Street.
It's kind of funny that
That would-
just with all the talk with
Completely.
town council and the verbiage that was put in, this is actually before all three of our time regarding the conditions of, that they have to for the easement. It almost could have been, well, you tie into the main street and that's, you know, the easement's really
Then you
not
think
that
of
much of
that
an
street,
option. Yeah, I
Right.
mean,
Right, when they
There's no
wrote the
point.
regulation, I mean, I read through most of the regulations and I'm a terrible proofreader, but I couldn't find anything in our regulations that says you have to tie into
Yeah.
the street that
Well, I think
the
this
address
is,
is, so.
I think, gentlemen, this is a sound thought we should pursue. And we should start at the start. What if we put that on the next agenda as subject to pursue and start putting something together? We'll never get it together for the town vote this particular round, because that has to be voted on by the town and brought in as a bylaw, no? Or can that be a regulation?
Good question for town council.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We just have to get it,
Let's start putting.
the
something-
thoughts on paper and then the
Mhm.
meeting.
And I think it's really that simple, you know, if the address of the
That's-
property
yeah.
is Chestnut Street, and, you know,
Frustrating to sit here and watch it not go down.
yeah, I just, you know.
In our defense, they came back with the same exact plan with just moving 6 feet over.
Yeah, no, and I
It
understand.
wasn't.
Like,
they
I
didn't put any
totally
work
understand what he.
into it.
you know,
All the time,
I'm
it took
not-
2
I'm
hours.
not knocking what.
About time, they came back with the same plan, just move 6 over and we're like, we're just gonna do whatever.
Yeah, they used to say they had no intention, but whatever, it's fine.
Where the
but
connection was.
So,
They had
It
to
wasn't
try
so
again.
much making them call our bluff either. I just said, okay, well, what's your cost to run to here? Cause whatever, I'm Joe Layman. I don't know
Well,
what it's gonna cost to dig up and tie.
we're
in
setting the
two
tone,
lines.
we're not, we're just, that we say,
Well,
we use that verbiage
we're
because
gonna-
we feel that way.
Even as Dan said, and Bill can attest, cause he's tied into so many other things, you know, it's happening and quite frankly, sitting at town meeting the other day, people voted that down pretty soundly, the whole T thing, you know, they weren't really happy with that, you know, being, so they're, you know, just tighten up our stuff on, you know, you can't stop progress, right? But we can, make it do it right, you know? I mean, I'm just watching townhome after townhome come up on my street, you know, so.
yeah, duplexes and triplexes, and that's the way to go, that's what everybody's doing.
Yeah,
And anywhere where there's sewer, that's what's gonna happen, people are gonna take single family homes and make them into duplexes and triplexes and everything else.
that's gonna overwhelm the system pretty quick.
Yeah.
If you're not even looking at land, if everything starts becoming two families or ADUs going on and stuff like that, flow can double pretty easy.
Okay. Well, we'll put that on the agenda and we'll get working on it. It's kind of an exciting subject to.
Look how far we came with the ADUs, you guys. the work-
Yeah, we've,
Yeah.
as soon as that started, we were on that and it was like, hey, let's, we need to get a permit fee in.
Well, regarding the ADU, that's. I mean, they're going into their own property line 99% anyways.
Yep.
Should affect that, so.
Yeah.
Well, now that this is in. It's voted in, is it effective now? If somebody tried to apply for an ADU permit tomorrow,
Yeah, is there like a waiver, I mean, grace period, or is there,
That's a good question,
Yeah.
that's, town council.
Right.
yeah, is that effective immediately, or? Is there an appeal period, or, you know, I mean.
it'd show up here tomorrow morning. and try to find
Right,
out.
so do these charts, does
See
this
what
charge
Andrew says.
policy,
Yeah, let's see what it is.
does this charge policy apply to right now?
I
You know?
think it
Yeah.
was, I mean,
All right.
when we talked to council about it, he was pretty much, well, it's a fee, it's one of your
Mhm.
regulations, it was immediate, but the other thing was a bylaw that was, you know, gonna take time, but I think as soon as we voted and accepted the final draft of this, it was as of
Mhm.
that day, so.
I think you're right, but I'll
Yeah.
double check.
No, I know,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I remember there was a little talk about it, but. Now I'm looking at more direct verbiage after you even say, well, why don't we just make it direct connect to the street, you know?
All right, gentlemen, so. Regarding future agenda items, obviously. The ADU is off, the manhole, should we bother keeping that on or have it come back on near the spring?
So put it back on in the spring, yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
there's not gonna
Nothing
be
to do.
updates through the winter.
We don't
so.
need Bill to tell us
No,
nothing's happening.
yeah,
That's right.
We don't need Bill to finally get a call back.
And every
and say,
time I-
"We
Give an
need
update."
GM, he's gonna be
Any
reaching
updates?
out by June.
I look at the director and I ask him and he's like, same as last time.
They ordered the wrong manhole cover sizes. It keeps
Oh, they got-
giving them every week.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, you got that in the spring.
Very good.
Oh, they're gonna reach out in April, and then it was, oh, they got a new,
yeah.
they got a new GM, he's gonna reach out soon. 2 months later, and then
So
supply chain.
it's on here, so I should probably ask, is there any public that has joined us and have any public comment or comment?
None.
Comment from commissioners or staff, anyone?
It's happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, don't eat too much.
I will say-
Yeah.
To pick
all
up the
right,
bills
so-
before the holidays, you
Yeah.
have lots of people in your house, don't flush the wipes.
Yeah, we had,
There you go.
My house knows.
I thought it was funny, when Bill did it, and then he said it worked, and then it was on like one of the notices, I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, don't flush the wipes.
It's always good to remind people, no flushing wipes.
Unless you. flush them.
I did wanna just bring up something that was kinda casual, but it is public. Did see on social media, some bills went out from a surrounding town that their sewer and water rates had gone way up. Are we looking at any of that? Or was that just,
Yeah, pretty soon, I think we need
Yeah.
to do that to compensate, for.
well, I knew we had to for the rates for the,
Yep.
the town.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone likes that, but it has to happen.
Well, it is, yeah, we knew when we discussed that, but yeah, no, I was just wondering where.
Yeah, that's
It was down the
definitely,
pipe.
yep, future agenda item to
Yeah.
discuss, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely the homeowners stay away from the commercial.
Yep, yep, but we have to raise the rates, unfortunately,
Yeah.
soon.
All right, gentlemen, so speaking of the holidays, we only have one meeting in December, it'll be December 9th, 7 p.m. That will be a regular hybrid meeting here at 7 p.m. And then our next meeting, which would be January 13th, will also be a hybrid 7 o'clock meeting. And then we'll be back to Zoom on January 27th. And then the fourth meeting ahead would be in February already.
Yeah,
Looking forward to finding signs of spring, like
Yeah,
the starting of NASCAR, and Super Bowls and stuff.
groundhog, no.
we've been living.
February 10th,
January
7
13th, I'll be in Tampa.
June first is the first.
I would like to ask now for a motion to close the meeting and,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second that motion?
right, we have a motion, it's been seconded. Arthur?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
And I for myself. Thank you, Lunenberg. Have a great evening.
I think one of these times we